Hello everybody, back here again for another, I guess, idiot's guide to woodworking. And I decided to try and build myself a multi-shelf, I don't know, maybe it's going to be a cat stand, maybe it's going to be a plant stand, I don't really know yet. But my goal is to make 3 legs, one in the back and then one on each side with a rounded shelves. So in order to make my rounded shelves, I went ahead and just took a piece of scrap large chip particle board, screwed a screw into it, and I should have glued down a couple strips here and here, but I didn't bother with that yet. This project's not that super important. So the next thing I did is I had a piece of some 3/4 inch ply here that I will back up into that screw, and then I just kind of measure and center it, which it doesn't really matter exactly as long as I have it somewhat squared. Then the next thing I do is I go ahead and take this next large chip particle board, could be plywood, could be solid wood, could be whatever, and I even that up to each edge here. As you can see, I'm smoothing that edge here, and on this side I go ahead and I'm smoothing that edge. So it's not perfectly square, this board here isn't, so I'm going to have to kind of work around it, and I just minimize the gap. Then I take a regular ballpoint pen, wrap the string around it a few times, hook the other end of the string to the screw, and that gives me my arch that I can just trace out right here on it. If you want your arch to be bigger, just let your string unroll your pen like so, make a bigger arch. If you need it to be smaller, roll your string up tighter, and you're good to go. So once that's done, I'm going to run those over. I've actually got them all traced out. I've got small, medium, and large shelf. I've got a small one. This is my medium, and then my large shelf is here. You can see the cutout line. It's kind of doubled up right here because the pin moved on me. I wasn't holding the pin perfectly straight up and down. So if you're wanting to make something super important, I would highly recommend taking yourself another piece of scrap wood, maybe a 1x6 or just a 1x4, 1 by whatever, and then drill a hole in it and let the pin drop through it. So you lay a flat board with the pin hanging straight down and make your line. So this is not that important of a concept. If it becomes a cat stand, I'm going to wrap these pieces in carpet. If it's a plant stand, I'm probably just going to put about 8 coats of paint on it, sand between coats, and kind of get rid of some of this ugly grain here. So for the uprights, I don't know what I'm using yet. Probably just some 1x4. I might rip it down a little bit thinner, resaw it, but most likely I'll probably just rip it into like a 3-inch piece instead of 3.5. So I'll head over to the bandsaw next, and I'll let you know next step. Have yourself a great day. Well, I'm back for the next stage of this corner shelf item here, and as you can clearly see, I've got a large, a medium, and a small, and I didn't bother showing you cutting on the bandsaw. Any of you guys can find how to cut a half circle or a quarter circle, I guess this would be on a bandsaw. I went ahead, as you can kind of see, I've left just a tiny little bit of the line right there. I'll hit it with the sander, and I'll smooth that out. Again, this don't need to be perfect. It's going to be wrapped in carpet, or it's going to be painted and set plants on, so either way, not that important. As you can also tell, I've got a little bit of tear out down here from the bandsaw blade, ripping through, and that's not that big a deal. Again, I'll flip it over, hit it with my hand sander, and I'll be good to go. So I didn't measure these out at all. I just kind of went with the biggest shelf I could make on each of the pieces of scrap plywood I had, or particle board I mean. And what I did was, you can see this one's definitely, the bottom does not have as big a gap as it is the medium to the small. And if I really wanted to, I could cut another, like a 4th shelf in here, but I don't want the stand to be that tall. So I'm just going to go ahead and live with it. I figure it's going to be at least a foot probably between each one of these, so I can't imagine anybody's going to notice that difference, especially wrap some carpet on it, and I might even make different colored carpet. That way it kind of changes a little bit more there too, so it's less likely to be spotted. But I can't imagine anybody really giving a darn at this point on it, and if they're that picky, I won't give it to them. So this is at the moment going to be possibly a Christmas gift, is what my plan is with it, and if it works out well, I might make a few more for some other people. But right now, it's just, I don't know, I saw this on Woodworking for Mere Mortals, and he made a really nice piece, and I'm just using absolutely the cheapest wood I have to give it a try, see what I think of it, and if I like it, then I'll upgrade. And what I'll probably do then is I'll use my router, and I'll actually cut these out in full circles on much bigger pieces of wood, and then I'll quarter them so I can have 4 shelves when I make it next time. So anyway, that's what I know for now. Have yourself a great time, and once I get to the next step, I'll be back.